Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. I am Chelsea if you're new here. If you're not, welcome back. You already know my name is Chelsea. A few things before we do get started. I make commentary videos here on YouTube regarding scams and unethical influencers, cults, and things like that. This is all just my own opinion. I'm just presenting you with information so that you can make a decision for yourself. You can obviously have an opinion differing at mine and leave that in the comments below, but just please try to be respectful when doing so. Also, since I'm sure we're going to get some new people on this video, that sign says stay spicy, not stay sploy. Stay spicy just means to be assertive. Stay your sexy self, have boundaries, all that. It can mean really whatever you want it to mean. Also, you're not hearing your refrigerator, your dog snoring, something like that. My bulldog Wiggum is behind me in my videos sleeping because he is just very exhausted with life, so you may or may not hear him snoring a little bit in this video. So subscribe if you would like to. It is free, and let's go ahead and get into it.
Good morning, YouTube. Hello, YouTube.
Hello, YouTube.
You guys have probably noticed the ungodly amount of hate. I made things right, and I did whatever it took to make things right.
Brittany Dawn facing new legal trouble, being sued by the state of Texas.
Sold a variety of fitness packages with promises of personalized nutritional guidance, costing customers up to $300.
Dangerous advice.
They didn't get what they paid for.
How am I doing great because I'm not losing weight?
I make mistakes, and that's what this video is here to do, to address it, to say that I am sorry.
If you've been consuming YouTube videos over the last 10 years, like most of us have, you're most likely familiar with what's known as the content pivot, the elusive YouTube pivot. Trends come and go, so it's really important to be able to adjust your content accordingly so that you can keep up with those trends, especially if this is your job. For instance, remember when slime content was all the rage? That was a weird time on the internet. However, keeping up with trends isn't the only reason why a content creator might have to pivot. They may be trying to reinvent themselves, or, maybe they're just tired of creating the same content over and over again. People evolve, their content evolves. However, another reason why content creators might want to attempt to pivot is to escape controversy and ultimately avoid accountability. And in my opinion, no one has done that better, or rather more drastically, than the subject of today's video, which is none other than Brittany Dawn. Brittany Dawn went from posing on her Instagram and in her YouTube videos in crop tops and yoga pants, posting workouts, videos all about how to get a smaller waist and how to avoid bloating, because God forbid our bodies are natural and bloat, to then scamming her followers and her customers, to then praising the overturning of Roe v. Wade and promoting modesty and purity culture in absolutely the most cringy way possible. And it seems as though all of this happened within a matter of months.
I decided this morning that I was going to go running with a friend. Her name is Brittany as well. And yeah, that backfired on us really, really quickly. Like legit, we were out there for maybe 30 minutes and all of a sudden this beautiful rain cloud just decided to pour down on us. What I did was I went ahead and listed out 4 different meals that I found on Pinterest or Instagram. I kind of got like inspiration. The first one is going to be an egg in a cup with butternut squash, peppers, and then sugar-free or organic ketchup.
Brittany Dawn Nelson, previously Brittany Dawn Davis, more commonly known on social media as simply Brittany Dawn, is a 31-year-old Instagram and YouTube influencer. She's verified on most social media platforms with over 550,000 followers on Instagram, over 1 million on TikTok, and just over 260,000 on YouTube. Brittany and her husband Jordan live in Fort Worth, Texas. Brittany gained popularity on Instagram and YouTube in around 2017, mainly posting content relating to fitness and more specifically keto, fat loss, intermittent fasting, and healthy Starbucks hacks. Brittany hasn't really posted this type of content since 2019, after the scandal that caught the eye of, well, everyone, including the Texas Attorney General's office. Before we continue, let's talk about the sponsor of this video. Sono molto eccitato. Why am I very excited? That's what I just said in Italian. I am so excited because Babbel is the sponsor of this video. Also because vado in Italia. I am going to Italy. Florence, to be precise. I'm so excited. And I'm very excited that we've planned it so far in advance that I can actually practice a lot and learn way too much about Italy. How am I able to do that? Because of the sponsor of this video, like I said, which is Babbel. Babbel is one one of the top language learning apps in the world. And not only is Babbel scientifically proven to help you start speaking a new language in 3 weeks, but the lessons are also created and designed by actual language teachers. And they have a 20-day money-back guarantee. They have different courses you can take, audio, games, and then also my personal favorite now. I know every time I say the new thing's my favorite, but the new thing is usually my favorite. They have a Babbel magazine. So this specific article that they have in here that is tips and tricks for your pronunciation has been super helpful to me. And I find this fascinating actually. The one that I was just reading and I got way too distracted while I was supposed to be filming this ad read is the article about how fascism changed the Italian language. Not only the Italian language, but the actual country itself. It's more geared towards the language. So I'll be going back to that after I'm done filming this video. And these courses teach you real world conversations and not only generic ones, but it's very practical and gets you talking about family, friends, food, travel, the culture, and really teaches you more about that so that, you can be more respectful when you are in another country. And some of the lessons you got to press down and repeat what is on the screen and work on your pronunciation. I got one little thing wrong and it counted it wrong. And I was like, dang it. Okay, I got to do it again. So it is very, very precise and really makes it so that you are pronouncing things correctly. And that is very important to me because I don't want to have any mistranslations because that has got me previously and I don't want that to happen again. So that you can have a giggle yourself. I was in France. I meant to tell someone that I liked the view from my bedroom. I accidentally told them that I thought that they were good in bed or that they were good in bed. It was very awkward. I left the room immediately. So that I will not have that happen again, I am taking the time learning in advance. I did seven lessons last week, and then I have a lot more this week, and I've been reviewing them too. So your girl, I'm going to be prepared this time. So make sure that you click the link in the description box, or you can just go ahead and scan the QR code that will be right here. And then also the link will be in the pinned comment as well. And you can get 60% off your subscription with Babbel. So go ahead, be spicy, learn a new language with me, and click that link. Again, thank you, Babbel, for sponsoring this video. Now let's go ahead and get into the craziness that is this deep dive. Internet automated courses are pretty popular on social media right now, whether it's influencers teaching you how to be influencers, fitness coaches teaching you how to be fitness coaches, business coaches teaching you how to coach businesses, or Airbnb marketing courses. Those ones definitely confuse me. Or boss babes teaching you how to be a better boss babe. No matter what it is, they are the bane of my existence and I absolutely cannot stand them. In my opinion, over 80% of the time, it's a scam. And the person who's selling you that course and saying that they are going to teach you how to make money doing this one thing and that they have made all this money doing said thing that they're going to be teaching you how to do, they didn't actually make that money by doing the thing that they are teaching you how to do. They're making their money by selling you the course and a facade, so to speak. And again, that's just my opinion. Now, fitness courses are obviously a little bit different. Courses, programs, plans, whatever you want to call them. But still, because everyone's body is very different, everyone's fitness plan and a nutrition plan and health plan should also be different. Our bodies work differently, lose fat differently, and a lot of us have different areas or different struggle areas. For instance, with me, I can lose weight from my face, my stomach, my legs. I've been working out consistently for about 10 months now, and I've only lost 1.5 inches off of my arms, and yet I've lost 3 inches off my waist. So my arms are a struggle area for me, and other people might have a lot harder time losing fat from their stomach instead. So every single person is different, and a lot of us have different dietary restrictions and different nutritional needs. So when it comes to fitness plans and health plans, nutrition regimens, it cannot be copy and paste because again, everyone is different. Brittany Dawn, or as Reddit calls her, B-Dong, at the time of when she was selling and starting this course, this program, she did not have any qualifications in regards to fitness or nutrition or anything like that. No certifications, no licensing, nothing. So although she was not qualified to actually advise people on these types of topics, she still did. Brittany did not go to school for anything like this. She actually claims that she used to be a vet tech and that's what she went to school for. However, there's no record of that I could at least find on the internet, and that is a pretty big talking point when it comes to Brittany Dawn. Also, people that have known her for quite a long time and known her family for quite a long time as well have alleged to me, I am not stating this as a fact, but they have alleged to me that that is a complete lie. Yes, she had an interest in it. However, she does not have a degree in that. Again, that is just anecdotal evidence. I'm not stating that as the truth. Despite not being qualified to do so at the time of taking people's money, Brittany launched her personalized diet and fitness plans through Brittany Dawn Fitness LLC, some of which had a hefty price tag of roughly $92 to $300 per month. According to multiple previous customers, or victims, if you will, of her scam, after purchasing the plan, they were instructed to fill out a questionnaire on her website to identify goals, activity level, and to submit photos with complete measurements and their current weight. After which, they downloaded the workouts, joined the Team Brittany Dawn Facebook group, and anxiously waited to begin the program. Since they were all in the same Facebook group, it quickly became apparent that they were all working the same exact, quote, individualized workout program. Not only is this extremely unethical in many ways, but it is blatant false advertising. And further than that, it's also very dangerous. Fitness and nutrition, as I said, is not a one-size-fits-all. Everyone's body is different, especially, like I said, when it comes to our problem areas and what we can and cannot eat and our physical limitations.
We never got anything back other than just, oh girl, you're doing so great. But I'm like, how am I doing great? Because I'm not losing weight and inches aren't going anywhere.
She was consuming less than a child would each day. She now says she regrets that decision.
It was terrible, mind-blowing advice, dangerous advice.
Essentially, Brittany Dawn, in my opinion, and the opinion of the Texas Attorney General's office, scammed her customers. She can say all day long that it was a little mistake and that she didn't mean to hurt anybody, but she let it go on for far too long. Some people received refunds, some claim to have been ghosted altogether when they confronted her, and I have actually been in contact with a previous client who claims that she was ghosted and then offered a $25 gift card, and that's it. Others have actually claimed that they were pressured to sign NDAs. That isn't the only controversy that she has been involved in, however. In April of 2020, Brittany Dawn applied and received a PPP loan for $20,800. At the time, she had already shifted to Christian content and wasn't really selling anything as far as I am aware of. PPP loans are meant for business owners, big and small, who were having a loss in profit during the COVID pandemic closures. They could be granted the PPP loans in order to pay their employees to continue payroll rather than having to lay off their employees. To my knowledge, Brittany did not have any employees at this time, and like many influencers, worked by herself and for herself. While it's not illegal for her to apply for and use a PPP loan, it is quite unethical. Now let's go ahead and run through a few of these other controversies so that we can get to the more recent ones. Now this one isn't necessarily a controversy, it is more so just cringy and embarrassing, and I think really shows a pattern of behavior of Brittany oversharing. Brittany went through a pretty public breakup and divorce from her ex-husband, and even made a pretty cringy video of it.
I would probably never actually say because they're so personal to me. It's just a really difficult time to go through a hard season.
Brittany has not only allegedly rehomed multiple pets in the last 6 years, but one of her dogs did get out of her backyard while she wasn't home and was hit by a car. Instead of taking the dog to the vet's office that was less than 5 minutes from her house, which has actually been confirmed by her neighbors, her boyfriend at the time, Jordan, who is now actually her husband, shot the dog to, quote, put it out of its misery. This happened in October of 2021. She claims that they left their house for 45 minutes to go to Lowe's, and their dog had gotten out within that time. If you leave your house, why are you not putting your dog inside? A quick little Google search told me that the temperature in early to mid-October in 2021 was a high of 92 degrees and a low of 73 degrees. I may be a crazy dog mom, but our 3-year-old bulldog is not going to be left outside if we aren't home. And we also do have an 8-foot tall fence around our yard. And he's not even allowed to be outside for more than 10 minutes unattended. It doesn't seem like Brittany is the most responsible dog mom, and I'm not saying that that's going to be a sign that she is going to be a bad mother, but here we are.
The gunshot went off and poor Jordan had to do that for Brody so that he wouldn't suffer.
The argument that a lot of her followers used to justify the actions of her husband was that this is normal to do in Texas, especially when, you live on a farm or, don't live in the city. But the thing is that they don't live on a farm. They don't live on a ranch. They don't live on a lot of land. And either way, you could have just taken the dog and driven it to the vet, which is right outside of the community that you live in. She lives in a community, like a subdivision. It's not out in the middle of nowhere. Dogs are not livestock. And I'm not a lawyer. I am not a legal professional in any capacity. And I am not accusing Brittany Dawn and her husband of committing any types of crimes. But according to Texas attorney Eric Torberson, when it comes to animal cruelty laws in Texas, there is obviously a difference between non-livestock animals and livestock animals. A non-livestock animal is a domesticated living creature. So a dog, a cat, something that is domesticated and lives with you, right? Stray or feral dogs or cats are also considered non-livestock animals. Also included in that are any wild animals that were previously captured. It is a defense if a person has a reasonable fear or bodily injury to themselves or another by a dangerous wild animal. The statute also mentions a defense under accepted legal wildlife practices solely for the purpose of fishing, hunting, trapping, wildlife management, or depredation. So is it illegal to shoot a dog in Texas? It is only a defense to animal cruelty for a person to kill a dog while or after it has injured or killed livestock on a person's land or while damaging crops, and only at that time of discovery. So no, according to Texas state laws, what he did was not legal. It also, in my opinion, is not ethical or moral, especially if you live right around the corner from a vet's office, from an animal clinic. Brittany also allegedly left her horse at a stable where she boarded him, not visiting him for long periods of time. The employees at the stable even claim that she had not been there and that she was late making payments. They also claim that they told her that her horse was sick and they actually ended up paying for him to be treated when she did not. Not to bring my own experience into this, but let's be honest, I always do that in every video, and I can only speak to my own experience. And I think it's important to give a little bit of insight when I can. I've lived on a ranch previously, and when I did, I would see my horse every single day because obviously I lived right next to it. Prior to that, here in Tampa, when I rode at a stable, I would see the horse every single week, sometimes even twice a week. I would say that it's pretty normal to go every week to see your horse if you do not have them on your own property. Now, with this next topic, I am going to tread lightly because it can be a bit triggering of a topic for many people. Yes, even more so than animal cruelty allegations. We're about to talk about police brutality. And let me say this first. Yes, my husband has been in law enforcement for over 10 years. He's not a patrol cop anymore. However, he used to be. And even more so than that, Black Lives Matter, 1,000,000%. I'm not going to sit here and say, not all cops are bad. Of course, there's good people and bad people. And obviously, there's bad people in every occupation. But that's not the topic here. That's not what we're talking about. And absolutely, there is systemic racism rooted in our country, unfortunately. There needs to be a lot more training. There should be things that law enforcement does not respond to because, unfortunately, a lot of times it can escalate a situation and not great things happen, for lack of better phrasing. Black people, especially Black men, are stopped, arrested, and incarcerated at a much higher rate than any other race in the US. And actually in the foster care system too. Now, I'm not going to show the dash cam footage from this certain incident because I'm not trying to get this video demonetized, but you can go look that up if you would like to. I have talked about this specific incident with multiple law enforcement professionals, many of which who have 20 to 30 to 40 years experience, all of who have agreed with me that it seems like from what was presented that excessive force was used and that is unacceptable. So here's my little synopsis for you. According to the ACLU, in December of 2013, walking just blocks from his home, Josh Bills was approached by 5 officers who surrounded him. He greeted the officers calmly. He stood with his hands down to his side at a 45-degree angle. He did not act aggressively. The police stopped him because of a call about a, quote, black man, black clothing, end quote. Then the encounter went south, a scene emblematic of racialized policing that is all too familiar. Despite being cooperative with the officers, Officer Jordan Nelson, without warning, grabbed one of Bill's arms and violently kicked out his legs from under him, smashing his face to the concrete. As Bills laid on the ground, injured and motionless, another officer knelt on his back to restrain him while they placed him under arrest. Chillingly, a few moments later, after the brutal altercation, Nelson reenacted his takedown for his fellow officers at the scene, while Bills was lying on the pavement, waiting for medical attention. And it was all caught on camera. Bills has been denied justice for the violation of his Fourth Amendment rights, so the ACLU of Missouri sued. As a Black resident of Kansas City, Bills was no stranger to racial profiling and police abuse. This isn't the first time this has happened to me, when a police officer has said, "Hey, you look suspicious," and for no reason other than my skin color, Bill said. It's not even the first time I've been roughed up. It's just the first time I've been able to draw attention to it. My existence shouldn't be cause for concern. Bills was held in jail for 2 weeks without bond following the incident. He lost his job. Bill's physical injuries are no longer visible, but his emotions remain raw. I am not anti-police, he said, but I do think that there are some officers who hide behind their badge, and too many other officers who do nothing to stop them. In March 2019, the case was dismissed, and since then, Jordan left law enforcement. According to LinkedIn, he was in consulting for a short time and then left that industry as well. More recently, in 2021, Brittany, Jordan, and their friend who goes by the Instagram name Daddy Hustler befriended and were trying to help a homeless man named James. They started a GoFundMe and raised quite a bit of money for this individual. However, when they were posting about him, it really seemed to be more about how Jesus is working and helping this man, seeming to be more of a show about how great people they are instead of it being truly altruistic. The GoFundMe raised over $25,000. Brittany posted an update, one of her rare ones, saying that James at the time was completing a program at a rehabilitation center called Alpha House. This residential treatment center is 100% free. So then where is the $25,000 going? Allegedly, they've given zero proof of how the funds have been used. Their friend Daddy Hustler posted a video on Instagram at the end of 2021 saying that James had finished the program and how difficult it was, and that James couldn't get a hold of Brittany and Jordan, apparently due to Jordan being in Afghanistan. He went further in saying that they just kept missing each other due to the time differences and schedules. Time changes are crazy, I understand that, and working with 4 different people's schedules can be hectic. However, again, from personal experience, I can tell you that one of our best friends is overseas multiple times a year for long periods of time, and we are still able to FaceTime him, call him, and text him multiple times a month. Brittany has said that they talk to him every week, and I agree that handing over just a lump sum of money may not be in his best interest or really set him up for his success necessarily. And I do understand that the public can definitely take things out of context or take one little thing that is said and turn it into a scandal when it's really just, quote, not that deep, as I like to say. But when you have a history of scamming people, lying, being caught in your lies, being sketchy, and not being the best person morally, when people are asking for updates and to not give updates, that is very silly, especially when you are linked to multiple sketchy organizations already. Like I said, Brittany has been linked to multiple sketchy organizations, one of which being Freedom Shield, which claims that they help women in regards to human trafficking or saving them from human trafficking. It is quite vague. If you Google the organization, the Instagram page pops up before the actual website for the nonprofit, which doesn't even seem like an actual landing page for the organization itself, but it's a page on the website North Texas Giving Day. I understand every nonprofit has different levels of funding, and depending on that, your digital footprint will vary. But even if we look at one that I donate to at least twice a year, not only financially, but we do volunteer with them as well, Florida Alliance to End Human Trafficking, you can clearly see the difference in not only the professionalism, but them actually showing what they are doing. Showing the work that you're doing, showing the numbers, showing the statistics, the analytics is extremely important, especially when you are accepting donations, crowdfunding, and having other people donate their time and money to something. Not only from an ethical standpoint, and I mean legal, but also from an engagement, like a business standpoint as well. Showing the result of something can really help people understand, wow, I really helped with this, and can really help them feel like they did something and like part of a bigger community, and that can keep them coming back and continue to donate and help whatever organization or whatever cause. Brittany seems to often forget that, in my opinion, and often instead just makes everything about Jesus and how it's changing her life and all about God. But speaking about Jesus and the almighty Sky Daddy, She Lives Freed is Brittany Dawn's female-only religious retreat with an alarming price tag of around $700, where for 1.5 days, they get to hear testimonies, talk about Jesus, living in modesty, and then potentially be dunked in a rusty tub as a baptism of sort. The posts on the She Lives Freed Facebook page are alarming to say the least, especially when you think about the fact that the primary demographic seems to be young women in their 20s. Let's go ahead and read over some of these. I could use some advice. I'm currently engaged and we just found out that I am pregnant. Side note, I have been told my whole life that I'd never be able to have kids. And if I did, it would be very risky. I know that sex outside of marriage is wrong. This baby was conceived before we made the commitment to really get back on track with the Lord and stay pure for marriage. We haven't told our parents yet because the backlash that we will receive. I already feel as if I've disappointed my parents by this, and they don't even know yet. I've been told before that a baby conceived outside of marriage is more likely to be attacked by the devil. Basically, they are more of a target since the baby was conceived outside of marriage. I'm honestly really scared because I know that what I have done is wrong, and I've repented for my sins. I just don't want my child to have to pay for my mistake. And one of the comments under it says, see a deliverance minister. This one says, so me and my boyfriend have been together for over a month. Being that we are still teenagers, we struggle with lust. He's not really religious, but I did get him to come to church with me, and I believe that it helped. I just keep having lustful thoughts about him, and he has communicated having similar thoughts. I really love him, and I know he feels the same, but I just don't want us to make any mistakes that we will regret later. How do I communicate with him that I want to save myself for marriage? He has said, you gotta test a car before you drive it as a joke, but it really made me feel objectified. I know he would never want me to feel bad or hurt me, but I really struggle communicating with him about this topic. So how have you guys helped with reducing lustful feelings and communicating about this with your partner? I am so emotional today. So yesterday at work, my husband was in a near-death experience. He's had a few in the past. He's not walking with the Lord. And I'm telling you, it was God's hand. He missed a machine collapsing on him by 1 foot. A few weeks ago, he injured his back to the point where he could barely walk without pain. He said that he had never had gotten so shaken and scared in his life. Well, today he's off hiking with his buddies and drinking beer. I'm so emotional because he could have died, 1, and 2, his priorities are time spent with buddies and drinking. He works far from home often, barely around. I am raising kids alone, homeschooling alone, and the guys he hangs out with are unmarried men. He always tells me our anniversary is just another year. When he does come home, he doesn't have time or inspiration to do anything with me and the kids. No exploring new places or spending time together. I had a meltdown today. You would think someone died. This really upsets me. I've been praying and asking the Lord if I need to walk away. I am having low tolerance living with someone who doesn't regard our relationship as important. Our communication lacks and our emotional intimacy is far. Sometimes I feel like the guy who goes everywhere my husband does has taken my place. What do I do? How do I communicate with my husband? On top of all that, my brother-in-law and wife want to come from South America on a visa, and I have a low tolerance for drama and drinking. I'm just so upset. Forgive me for venting. I feel like I'm going in circles. And actually, this is one of the comments, or actually 2 of the comments responding to a second one about the lustful thoughts. God forbid you're a teenager and you feel a little bit tangly. One of the comments says, guys seldom buy used cars. Don't accept the try now scheme. It's a head game to see if you'll play along. They'll try and move on. At this point, you might have a strong liking or lusting, but love takes time. You might love the thought of him and what you want a relationship to be. Be blunt, set boundaries, be strong. Fall in love with God and Jesus. He will take care of the rest. And then someone else said, yes, let's compare women to cars, further objectifying them. Also, men do buy used cars. So I'm sorry, but this analogy is ridiculous. There are many more absolutely spooky and concerning posts in that group, many of which talk about shaming. And I feel like you can just really tell that many of these women are just very insecure within their own relationships and have been shamed into thinking that they are not going to be a valuable person or a good wife if they are not pure. I can tell you right now that prior to my husband, him and I both around a lot. We had fun. We were safe and we had a lot of fun. And we are committed to each other. We love each other so much. And we are absolutely excellent spouses to each other and have an extremely strong relationship. And what's going on in the bedroom? Absolutely fantastic. I don't regret any of that. I don't, and neither does he. I don't think that you should. And I think that that type of narrative and trope really just shames young women. And it is so sad. Now, speaking of modesty, I purposely wanted to show my shoulders in this video. This is a crop top, by the way, but you can't see. But speaking of modesty and purity culture, let's go ahead and watch a few reels that are my personal favorites from Brittany Dawn that really just shows us what she thinks about it.
Wait, I can do that better. What if it's like...
Add a little bit of spice.
In a modesty culture, girls and women are expected to dress in such a way that boys and men will not be distracted by their clothing. If a boy or a man lusts after a girl or woman, she shares in that sin because it was her choice in clothing. Modesty culture is rooted in blaming women for simply having a body. This idea that if you show a bit of cleavage, then that means that you don't respect yourself or your husband is absolutely ridiculous. Purity culture and the demonization of sex can definitely lead to sexual insecurity. One of the many reasons that this video took so long for me to put out was because, one, I'm a glutton for standing in my own way and my own success. And two, I actually took the time to survey over 400 married women across 4 separate churches in my area regarding purity and modesty culture. And the results are absolutely just as I expected. I chose 2 semi-progressive churches and then 2 much more conservative churches. And what I found is that of the 400 women, 60% of them did wait until marriage to have intercourse and are people who subscribe to the purity and modesty culture. And of that 60%, which is about 240 women, 192 of them felt insecure in the sexual aspect of their relationship. And when I say having that insecurity of the sexual aspect of your relationship, it can manifest in, well, let's just put it this way, many things that Brittany Dawn posts about. Don't get me wrong, set your boundaries, be respectful to each other. Whatever works in your relationship, whatever you want to wear, okay. I'm not going to judge you for not dressing, more revealing. If that's not your style and you don't want to, that's okay. Whatever you and your spouse, or, when it comes to your clothing, whatever you're comfortable with is fine. But saying that your spouse or you cannot be friends with, be around, talk to anyone of the opposite sex other than you is extremely delusional. And in my opinion, that's extremely unhealthy. That creates this type of environment within your relationship where, again, you have that insecurity not only within yourself, but your relationship, and that can affect the trust in your relationship. I've seen many posts in this She Lives Freed Facebook group where women will talk about in the comments or even just in the post as well about how to deal with their husband looking at another woman. God forbid a attractive female, attractive male, whoever walks by and you glance at them. Does that mean you're going to hell? Does that mean you're being disrespectful? That's not what that means. You can look at an attractive human. It doesn't mean you're going to be unfaithful. It's going to be okay. Have a little bit of confidence and a little bit of security in your relationship and in yourself and in your spouse. But unfortunately, like I mentioned, the purity culture, the modesty culture does not really breed that type of environment where you are going to have that confidence and that security in your relationship and in yourself. And this, like I said, could cause your relationship to become very fragile, as well as cause you to become very fragile. But Brittany Dawn would probably blame all of that on the devil, as she does with most things. Brittany Dawn has really been leaning hard into the unhinged Christian content niche since Roe v. Wade was overturned. We could spend hours going through everything that she's posted since then that absolutely makes no sense and is truly just her fear-mongering young women. Every inconvenience in your life is not caused by the devil. You being called out for your unethical behavior, you being held accountable by your followers, someone having a differing opinion, religion, lifestyle than you. That is not the devil attacking you. That's what's called life. Now here's another trigger warning: miscarriage, child loss, all that. If you don't even want to hear anything about this topic, go ahead and skip to the next chapter. I will have all the timestamps below. And so you'll see the little chapters in the little like scrub thingy. And then actually, I am pretty sure on your phone, you can actually, if you go to like see chapters, you can like see all of them on the sidebar, I believe. So first and foremost, earlier this year, Brittany and Jordan announced that they will be stepping into becoming foster parents. There's been a lot of discourse and a lot of people who are foster parents or were in the foster care system themselves, or who were adopted or who are adoptive parents, all of that, who are very frustrated with her claiming that she's a foster parent already when the placement, that's what that's called, when a child is placed within your home, when that hasn't even happened yet. Very strange, at least to me. And of course, this entire video is just my opinion, but it's very strange to me that she's already claiming that when you're not a foster parent yet because you don't have it yet. Just like I can't call myself a mother because I don't have a kid. Being foster parents can be extremely emotional, extremely taxing, and the people who do it are absolutely amazing. So if you are a foster parent, even if you've adopted as well, if you're a parent, period, but especially with fostering, give yourself a snuggle, give yourself a round of applause, go get you a snack, okay? You're amazing and I appreciate you. You truly are doing the Lord's work. It's pretty widely known that when it comes to becoming a foster parent, you cannot show your foster children on the internet. I learned recently, and from a lot of different videos that I've watched regarding this topic and talking to foster parents that I know as well, that typically that applies to you if you are going through the foster care system through the state, which is very common, especially because you will then be allotted funds, which is helpful to you for having a foster child or multiple placements. However, if you do go through a private organization and not the state, then sometimes those certain organizations will not require you to abide by that. Not to pull a Dora the Explorer, but let me ask you this. Do you think that Brittany Dawn is going through the state? Allegedly, they are not. So that's really my first concern there when it comes to fostering, is that Brittany Dawn would be putting this child on the internet. I would hope that that would not be the case, not only when it comes to, the whole child exploitation aspect of becoming a family channel, but I could really see her doing that because she doesn't seem to have a problem or see the moral implications when it comes to pushing her beliefs on everybody. So why would she have a problem with protecting the privacy of a child that could potentially only be in her home for a certain amount of time? Another aspect of this that I kind of have I don't want to say an issue with, because have your religion, have your beliefs, have your spirituality. I am big on freedom of religion and obviously freedom of speech too, but I don't care what you do, as long as it's not going to be detrimental or dangerous for other people or people within your household or this child that you're bringing in. So I would really hope that they wouldn't try to, for lack of a more casual term, indoctrinate whatever child is placed within their home into this very fundamental Christianity that could be so detrimental to a child's psyche. Let's see. Comment down below if you were raised in a very, very, very conservative, fundamental religious household when you were younger, in those very formative years, 8 years old to 16 years old-ish. How are you doing now? Y'all right? How would you say that that affected your life moving forward? And hey, it could have been positive, could have been very detrimental and negative, but it's about having a conversation, so please be respectful. But I would love to know. And before any of Brittany Dawn's stans, fans, lovers come at me or try to say that I'm, shaming Christians, like I said, believe whatever you want to believe. I honestly don't care. But it comes to the point of, where does it land on the influence continuum, the bite model, all that? Is it more culty than it should be? And in my opinion, what she's shown, what she's involved in, does seem pretty culty. No, not every religion is a cult. Yes, I do consider myself a Christian. I do believe in God. I do pray almost every night. I don't need anyone else to be involved in that. I don't post about that. I don't need to. Yes, I am a bisexual woman. Yes, I am married to a man. Yes, I believe in God and I go to church. Am I going to burn in hell? We'll see, buddy. But I can tell you right now, I am not here for a long time. I am here for a good time. I'm going to have fun while I'm here and try to be not a person. I'm probably blowing the minds of her followers right now, but that's okay. We're here to have rational conversations and just try to survive, okay? Now, another thing that I do find interesting is that Brittany and Jordan were or are trying to conceive at the same time that they are open for a placement in terms of accepting a foster child into their home. Now, when it comes to fostering, you don't know what you're going to get. It's like a box of chocolates, apparently. So, I mean, you could get a teenager, you can obviously tell them like what you're comfortable with accepting into your home. And I'm using the term accepting into your home just because there's nothing deeper about how I'm saying that. But you do say, what you're comfortable with. Some people are more comfortable with fostering teenagers, preteens. Some people are more equipped with and more experienced with, babies, toddlers, younger children. So it really just does depend. I don't really think they've talked about that openly, but I do find it very interesting that they are, doing those at the exact same time. And that is one thing that would worry me. Now, it's not, against rules and regulations or a requirement for you to like not be pregnant or not get pregnant when you're looking to foster or when you're looking to adopt. But there have been studies done that it is not a good idea to do what is called artificial twinning, which is where you're, looking for a placement, or rather your household is open to a placement in terms of adopting or foster care, in this instance, foster care. And then you're also trying to get pregnant. So if they do get a baby, then that baby and their baby could be the same age or around the same age. And that can be really, really hard on the foster child or adopted child. Because as a kid yourself, you're trying to find where you fit within the family, and same with a foster or adopted child. You're trying to figure out where you fit within the family and learn your place, basically. And that can be really hard to do when you have someone that is so close in age to you, who is actually genetically of the same gene pool of the parents of the household. The possibility of like unintentional alienation and favoritism and things like that come into play too. And I'm not saying that she would do that, but that would be a concern of mine as well. Now, recently, Brittany posted to her social media and let her followers know that she did have a miscarriage. And it seems that she did lose their child within, I believe it was like halfway through month 3 or like 3.5 months, something like that. She was out of the first trimester. They had already started to tell their family and friends and stuff like that. There have been a lot of people who have been questioning the timeline and questioning if she actually had a miscarriage. And I am not going to do that. I will never, ever do that as someone who has suffered, not even going to say gone through, suffered, because it sucks. As someone who has suffered multiple miscarriages, I don't need your opinion on it. I don't need your advice on it. It's fine. But as someone who has experienced that, if anyone ever questioned or accused me of lying about that, that would be awful. That would absolutely be detrimental to my mental health. Not only is it extremely emotional, I mean, the pain, obviously, but the physical pain, the psychological aspect of it, just emotionally, like I said, I mean, it's very, very rough. Very rough. I haven't been too public about this one, but recently, beginning of this month, I believe it was, I haven't been too public about this. Most of my followers know, like, they can tell when something's off. So a lot of people just assumed. But at the beginning of this month, my husband and I did have a loss. We had a miscarriage. It was right at 7 weeks and 2 days. That's the farthest we've gotten. And I even told him, I was like, all right, 7 weeks, probably shouldn't leave the house the next 2 days because I'm pretty sure like it's not going to stick and we're going to lose it in the next 2 days. And we did. And it was very emotional and it sucked. It was absolutely awful. But again, like I said, if someone was to question that, and some people have, and that's really fucked up. People can say all day long, oh, there's a special place in hell for the people who, lie about that. Yeah, well, absolutely, for sure. But if you're going to accuse someone of lying about that, you're going to be sitting right next to the people who are lying about that down in the fiery, burning brimstone that is hell. Now, the thing is obviously you can have your opinion on whatever you want. That's all right. But Brittany Dawn's probably not gonna see your comments and your hot takes and your accusations of her faking a miscarriage. You know who will probably see you doing that on social media? Your friends who have had miscarriages. And it's probably gonna hurt them instead of it actually hurting Brittany Dawn because she's probably not going to see it. Apparently she does read Reddit though. So one thing I will say is that I do think that she milks any situation for every penny that it's worth. That can be pretty rough on your psyche in regards to the boundaries or lack thereof that you've set with your own audience, as there is a fine line between being vulnerable, showing your struggles in order to, break down taboos and help people and raise awareness, and then exploiting your own traumas for financial gain, which I do think that Brittany Dawn does. And in terms of this specific instance, when it comes to child loss, miscarriage, I'm not saying don't talk about it. I do, because I think it's important for women, especially women in their 20s, to understand that it's pretty common. I mean, the statistics in regards to chemical pregnancies and pregnancy loss, miscarriage in general it's pretty alarming. I never even knew that it's very common for people to have miscarriages when they are younger. And normalizing that and having people understand that is important so that you don't feel alone and broken. There's probably a lot of people that you know around you that have actually had miscarriages, and you just don't know because people don't talk about it because, we can feel broken and, weird about it. There have definitely been times where I'm like, I am broken, and it's so frustrating that as a woman, my body doesn't do like one of the main things it's supposed to do. But that's okay. Again, just a quick little reminder, quick little disclaimer. I don't talk about it too much and get into detail about it because I do just want to help raise awareness and then make it so that other women don't feel super alone and that they know that they're not the only ones that this happens to. But I am not looking for anyone's advice or opinion on it or to monetize it. So please just keep that in mind before you comment, okay? All right, thank you. So as always, here are my closing thoughts and opinions. I do firmly believe that Brittany Dawn has used her pivot to Christian content as a way to evade accountability for her actions. She seems to definitely have a only God can judge me mentality, and that anyone who is going to have an opinion on her, try to call her out for unhinged, delusional, unethical behavior is an attack from the enemy, from the devil. And I also do believe that her social media life is absolutely full of hypocrisy. While she's in these seminars and on her social media saying and promoting that the only way that you can have a pure or modest relationship or live in modesty is to never be in a room alone with someone of the opposite sex before you're married, never have sex before marriage, or not live together before marriage, or not talk to people of the opposite sex when you are married, when her own neighbors allegedly have claimed that they saw Jordan's car there at her house overnights all the time. So it's like, who was in your house with you then if he was in your house? Did y'all have a chaperone like every time before y'all got married? Probably not. So what are you doing? And there's a lot of people who have said that he did actually move into the house and spend the night there before they were married too. So it's like, how are you preaching this and then doing the opposite? My main point in making these types of videos, my unethical influencer videos, is to highlight people that I find fascinating, interesting, whatever, and just to make sure that you are aware of certain things, and truly for consumer awareness and consumer protection purposes. And because I can do what I want. And this is my channel. So I have an opinion, I'm going to give it. Please do be mindful and careful of who you give your energy to, your money to, your time to, and who you follow on the internet. You are valuable, your feelings are valid, and I don't want you to be scammed on the internet or in person. So please always listen out for red flags. If someone is promising something to you, presenting something to you, think about it for more than 5 minutes. If it starts to fall apart, if there's a lot of inconsistencies, just take a breath, take a step back, think about it. If it's really an amazing opportunity and if they are really not trying to scam you, it will hold up to questioning and it'll be there in a week. Now that is it for this video. Please be kind to yourself, be patient with yourself. Above all else, stay spicy. The only way to remain eternally spicy is to subscribe. So please subscribe if you liked this video, or if you didn't, that's fine too. You could still subscribe. Leave your comments down below if there's another influencer, public figure, whoever that you would like me to add to my potential deep dive list. My list is pretty strong. right now. Got some bangers coming up. I'm pretty excited. Then go ahead and comment those down below. You can also email me. My email is in the description box below too. And you can submit, like a topic idea for a video, why you want me to do a video on them, send me links or stuff if you want to. This was just me presenting information to you in a rational manner. Of course, I'm gonna be a little bit spicy, a little bit sassy here and there, but presenting you information, giving you my opinion, and I would love to hear yours in the comments below. Don't be nice, please. Be respectful to one another and yourself. Again, thank you, Babbel, for sponsoring this video. If y'all would like to learn a new language along with me, like I said before, I am trying my very best to learn more about the Italian culture and be more comfortable speaking Italian, since this coming year, Tony and I have a trip to Italy planned, and I'm like way too excited about it. So click the link in my description box or in the pinned comment to get started with Babbel today. So like I said, remember to stay spicy, and I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye.